How may we conceptualize curriculum? We've learned from our readings that curriculum is a very multidimensional subject that can be conceptualized in a variety of ways. We learned from the PowerPoint presentation that Decker Walker can conceptualize curriculum in terms of the elements that comprise instruction, namely subjects of instruction, activities for learning, intentions such as outcomes and desired results, and experiences that the learners have. Another way of conceptualizing curriculum could be talking about what we choose to include in our instruction. For example, Eisner talks about explicit, implicit, and null instruction, which is comprised of what we actually teach, that is specified in guides and other documents. Implicit means things, assumptions that underlie what we teach, and null are the things that we decide not to teach. A similar conception of this is also embodied in Larry Cuban's 4 categories, which he refers to: official curriculum, what's in guides, the curriculum that's taught, the curriculum that's actually learned, and the curriculum that's actually tested. Another way of conceptualizing curriculum has to do with the types of questions that are addressed in education, such as Byers and Appel's 8 essential questions. A fourth way of conceptualizing curriculum can be seen in the types of paradigms that define what learning is. In pre-modern paradigms, education is about transmitting timeless values to students that give them a sense of what is unchanging in human life. A modern curriculum is aimed at teaching students explicit, specific things and efficient ways for getting things done. A postmodern curriculum means that learning is something more learner-centered. We teach students to grapple with a multiple of perspectives that they'll find in learning. We embrace the messiness of learning and try to teach students how to find their way in a world that presents many possible paths to truth. A fifth way of conceptualizing curriculum has to do with the interaction between the 5 bodies of experience in schooling. As outlined by Schwab, these 5 bodies are subject matter, learning, the learners, the properties of the learners, and the needs of the students in the classroom, milieus, the predilections of the learning environment and the community in which instruction takes place, the predilections and strengths and frame of reference of the teachers, and the curriculum process as handled by curriculum specialists, the process of creating the curriculum. For my colleagues who teach in other departments of my school, non-music departments, they don't really get the opportunity to examine the many different ways that curriculum can be conceptualized. For them, curriculum is an explicit thing. It's as embodied in documents that are given to them by their department. It is for them, my curriculums in math, my colleagues in math, social studies, and other disciplines, curriculum is a document that tells them terms that their students need to learn, what concepts their students are expected to understand, what skills they are asked to demonstrate, and what products the students are expected to be able to do. Progress in these areas is measured for the most part on common departmental assessments or on standardized tests at the state and national level. For my colleagues in music, curriculum is conceived in different ways too. For my colleagues in elementary and middle school levels, I have found that they too have frequently been bound by curriculum as a document, something that is given to them and told they need to teach. So these documents, so for them, curriculum is often divided in a manner that's explained in the PowerPoint presentation by Dr. Abrams. Curriculum is topics, such as general music, choir, band, orchestra, guitar, and composition. And for them, the curriculum is also genres that lead to accessible outcomes, such as the four major genres that Dr. Abrahams defines is having students create original compositions, perform in ensembles, having them engage with music that is composed and performed by established musicians, and also interacting with music created by adults for children. For me, as a high school teacher of vocal music, the way I'm going to conceptualize curriculum is still different. The most public manifestation of my curriculum is the performances that my group is expected to give by the school and by the community. In a sense, particularly where I am, I'm coming into a new program that has a very, very extensive performance calendar. When I'm thinking of curriculum, I'm thinking of how do I avoid a narrow way of teaching where I'm only teaching to the concerts, because there are many things that I want my students to learn rather than just preparing the music for the concerts. So to think about curriculum, I'm going to think about 5 questions, which will also serve as my points of inquiry for this class. I'm going to think about what is my role as a teacher. I conceive of my role as a teacher broadly, which is I provide opportunities for each student to discover the power of his or her voice and to create harmony with others, both musically and socially. The second question I think about is, what will my students learn? This is embodied in the repertoire I choose, and also in the leadership opportunities I provide for my students, such as organizing social events among the choir, helping to organize outreach into the community for our community performances, and also in terms of music literacy. What will the students learn about different musical styles? What will they learn about reading music and critical listening? In all of these things, I strive to expand my students' range of experience and my own range of experience by picking a broad variety of materials. In a sense, the curriculum, the textbook for my choir is going to be the literature that I choose, and that in some cases the students help me choose. The third question I'm going to ask myself is, how will I help my students to learn it? This will consist of rehearsal procedures, the various things that the students learn about vocal technique. Will I use media and recordings? Will I have students bring in music that interests them from outside the class? Will I bring in guest speakers, for example, to talk about music from cultures in which I'm not an expert? Fourth question about curriculum that I'll ask myself is, how will we know when learning has occurred? We will see this through the performances we give, but there will be many other ways to measure students' learning. There'll be reflective opportunities to reflect on how music connects with their other studies in school. There'll be peer critiquing. There'll be performance assessments where students sing for each other and for me. Learning will also be occurred in the quality of the interaction that occurs between the students and between me, as measured by the initiative that students take in providing leadership for various classroom functions, and in the different ways that students contribute to the running of the chorus. A fifth question that I focus on in thinking about curriculum is, in what ways will teachers, students, and members of the community be transformed by what we learn? When we give performances out in the community, when we rethink about when students broaden my own conception about different styles of music and learn to appreciate things that maybe we weren't exposed to before. What does our learning teach us about how to interact as a group? All these things are important. So as we learn together in this class, I will be thinking in myself to think about curriculum in all its many facets, and to think about the ways that students and I can create opportunities where we both grow and where we help to be agents of positive change through what we learn.